Hello. Welcome. Welcome. Would love to know if you can hear me. I think that's the first thing. Let's see. Okay. Welcome. All right. We're here. Let's see. I'm just going to give a moment for everyone to come on since this is live, and this is the Gates of Remembrance. Please say hello if you are here and where you're tuning in from. We are co-creating the transmission here. I have plans and things that I want to share with you. And there is the listening. So since we are live, I would love to know who's here and where you're tuning in from. And in fact, if you are here and you're already planning to join us on Holy Return, the Call of Destiny in Egypt in January of 2027, I would love to know that too, if you're already planning to join us. Yay! Hello. I'm so glad you can hear me. Well, happy new moon. It could not be more perfect. So it could not be more perfect. I had to reschedule. We had to postpone last week. And now, of course, we are landing the Gate of Aliveness, which is the second gate in the Gates of Remembrance, a journey through the Egyptian mysteries of Kemet. That this is happening on the new moon, it really could not be more perfect. And we're going to unpack this together. So happy new moon to us, to the dark moon, the dark moon. And so as we're beginning, I simply invite you to become aware of the earth and all of her aliveness, her elemental aspect, all the minerals, all the water, all the fire, all the creatures, all the beings. And also become aware of the cosmos, the vast cosmos, as well as our own solar system. Really feeling yourself as the center here. That is so much of what these transmissions are oriented from. That is such a large part of the cosmology that we are tuning in from, is this active participation in co-shaping with the divine and with nature as human beings. So that's really just to bring us into center. And here's what I want to offer us. I do have some slides for us today, and I do have a practice that I'm going to take us through after we go through the slides. And there's going to be a practice activation that we're going to do together. I'm going to invite you to participate fully in your own space. And so the Gate of Aliveness is so much about how we participate. How we participate. So really say that to yourself and come online with yourself. Thank you for saying hello. Please keep saying hello. If I look down here, I'm looking at my YouTube notes here. All right, beloveds. I think I'm going to just take us right out of the gate to where we get to go here. So let me bring us up. Okay. Here we go. Oops. Okay, one moment. I'm going to get my slides for you. Get my slides for us. Okay. Hello. Today we are with Het-Hert, Hathor. You may have already a long-standing relationship with this goddess. Here she is. She is in with us, fully invoked and evoked, and yeah, beautiful, beautiful journey that we are going on. All right. So last week, as this is currently a 4-gate series, we'll see if more get added. Last week we were at the Gate of Wholeness with Aset Isis. And so we moved through part of this significant cosmology of Kemet, which is the story of the dismemberment and recollection of Osiris. And we named the 14 pieces and the initiations that call us home through the recollection process. So that was gate 1. And we'll touch on how today, where it connects inside of this greater cosmology. So she who holds this gate is Het-Hert. You may also know her by her Greek name, Hathor. I will be referring to her as both as we go through. And so as we go, we're moving through the gates one by one. Each one is held by a member of the Neteru, which is the sort of divine family of Kemet, you may call, except currently our 4th one is the Ka, and that is for us and for our experience of wholeness. The gates are not separate from each other. They are a cycle. We return to each of them, and the Gate of Wholeness also lives inside of this gate and vice versa. And that is so beautiful. That's one of the things I love most about mystery teachings, is that it's not linear. It's a hologram. Everything is inside of everything, and that orientation provides an access to the vastness of our beingness versus a linear path. So who is she? Look at this beautiful detailed photo of her here on the right here, Het-Hert Hathor. She is the lady of 1,000 names. She is the mother of light. She is the mother of heaven. She is the portal of Taurus, the fertility mother of the light of the cosmos. So if Aset Isis is fruition, the force that brings things to their utmost realization, which we talked about, that's wholeness, yeah, then Het-Hert is conception. She is where life begins before it even knows it is beginning. And that's why it could not be more perfect that we are on the new moon. Het-Hert is one of the most beloved members of the Neteru, and she has been called upon across thousands of years for fertility. For fertility, people would come to her temple, they will bring offerings, they will sing and dance and commune, whether it is for themselves or for others, for healing, for fertility, and for joy, and for really the return of life force in the way that it returns when it is a real participation. And that's really the key that I'm going to keep bringing us back to, and especially one that will be very much alive when we go into the practice portion. Yes. So this is just, like I said, it's so perfect that it ended up getting postponed and being on the new moon. So there are 3 different types of temples in Kemet, and there are 3 different frequencies of the temples. There are the solar temples associated with the sun, raw, masculine, solar intelligence. There are the lunar temples that are associated with the moon and emotions and the feminine cycles. And then there are the stellar temples that are associated with the stars and cosmic lineage and galactic transmissions. Het-Hert Hathor is a lunar member of the Neteru, and so is her temple considered to be a lunar temple. And, you know, this temple, because it is a lunar temple, and her, because she is a lunar member of the Neteru, holds the energy of the moon, of emotion, and of the feminine cycles of death and rebirth, which is so connected to aliveness. Her symbols: the cow, the Milky Way. She's associated with the cow, the Milky Way. She is considered to be the provider of the cosmic milk that nourishes our entire solar system. She is the provider of the Milky Way's milk that nourishes our entire solar system, the great mother of the sky. She's also the portal of Taurus, and Taurus is embodiment made sacred. Embodiment made sacred. Again, we come back to participation with that. The physical world as a body of the goddess. Taurus rules the throat and sound, voice, spoken word, creative life force, which is why so much music and creative offerings are associated with bringing the prayers and the offerings, with the prayers for fertility and joy and pleasure and beauty. So she governs, so her energetic is very much connected, and as we go to her temple, is very much connected to the emotions, and that connection becomes very clear as we move in to her temple. Dendera, one of the most beautiful, I mean, an exquisite temple. It is later built than some of the older ones. We looked at, I don't remember if we looked at the Assyrian the last time, but there are some temples that are much, much older, and there are some that have a little bit more, just different influences. And they are built a little bit later. So in the recollection of Osir Osiris and the map of the 14 pieces that we talked about, Dendera represents the chest. Yes, the chest. And the emotions, the seat of the emotions. As we said, it's a lunar temple, and the moon governs emotions. So her temple, her lunar frequency, and the piece of the divine body that she holds, they're all the same teaching. And that is part of how we participate, whether we're willing to fully meet life, no matter what, even when it's not what we like, even when it's what we hate. Yeah. So to recollect this piece, we recollect the emotions, and we have to be willing to go there. We have to be willing to go there. And so this is one of the, just one of my favorite pieces that I've walked with for so many years, is this aspect of the eternal yes, the teaching of the eternal yes. And what is required to recollect the chest, what is required to recollect the emotions, is an eternal yes. Not a conditional yes, not a yes when life feels good, but it is truly an eternal yes. And so Het-Hert carries this high vibration of joy and beauty and pleasure. And yes, this gate of aliveness is about how we live in our bodies, how much aliveness we say yes to with our full capacity and our full emotion, no matter what is happening. So this is not dependent on circumstances. It is a devotional relationship with life force itself. A devotional relationship with life force itself that can be highly initiatory in terms of how we move through fear when fear arises in the body. When you get very triggered, when you get very scared, there is life force there. If you've ever tuned into the energy of fear, there's so much energy there. And so these are initiatory things that happen to expand our capacity for this eternal yes, which is connected to our aliveness, which is all inside of these teachings here. Your personal life force and the universal life force, they are always co-shaping, and your participation does make a difference. Just popping here to see if you all say anything. So her domain is joy, music, sensuality, beauty, temple dance, dream, sound healing. And these are vehicles that she moves through, which she moves is how we access the frequency of the eternal yes, right? So even when you think of yourself, when you begin a dance, you may not quite be there, but if you participate in ecstatic dance, let's say, 10, 15, 20 minutes in, the frequency, your capacity expands, your capacity for the yes expands. So we can just call it that the ecstatic dance practices are in her domain. And so we go to receive the transmission of the creation principle. That's why we go to receive the transmission of the creation principle through dance, music, a lot of toning, a lot of sound frequency healing. In the Het-Herts, which were called the priestesses of Hathor, the Het-Hert, they would dance. This is the sistrum, right? This is kind of like I don't know if you can hear it, but how the sound is, but this is one of the ways that they would create music in the temples to evoke and aliven and awaken everything that is already there for us. Can you see it? There's her face. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear it. I use this to clear my altar. I use it to clear myself. I cleared myself before we came online here. And so as it is, she is a lunar member of the Netheru, and this is a lunar temple. We talked about the cycles. So the complete cycle does matter here, which is, again, so important that we're here on this new moon today. The complete cycle, the eternal yes, includes grief. And so the path of aliveness moves through death. And in the last gate, we walked with us at Isis through dismemberment and resurrection, and that completes into this one. Yeah. So the cycle doesn't end when we arrive somewhere, it completes into this gate, because aliveness that has not moved through a cycle that includes grief doesn't always have to be this like massive dramatic grief, right? But we don't arrive at the full aliveness without that cycle of the decay and the dying and the grief. The grief, so that there's the cycle of life and death, and then the grief is the emotional aspect of it, right? Because we are recollecting the chest and we are recollecting the emotions. So the grief is connected with that, because it's not a conceptual idea of, well, this is dying, this is a death cycle, this is the void, because it is conception, right? There's a void before the conception. And again, we are associating here with this lunar temple and this lunar member of the Netheru, Het-Hert. So I think it's really important to, connect with whatever grief is, unprocessed, untouched. If you are wanting to deepen your aliveness in any other capacity, and we're going to go more into what that actually is. But for now, she holds a full lunar cycle, including the dark. New life begins not in the full moon. New life begins in the new moon, which is today, in the period of impending darkness, in the not yet. That is when the new begins. And so I'm inviting us today to really connect with this, because we are going to go into a practice. And so who knows what could, who knows what can awaken. The womb is dark before it is fertile. Yes, and grief is not the opposite of aliveness. It's a passage. Yeah, we talked about that, moving through the dark when the new is not yet born. And so this isn't something that happens once. It's not a gate that comes once, like the lunar cycle, it returns, like grief, it returns, like death and rebirth, it returns at a continuous opening, a continuous giving, a continuous yes. And that means there's a devotional relationship with the life force, not a moment of aliveness, but a practice of it. And a practice of aliveness requires that eternal yes to the fullness of the emotions. And that includes joy and grief. And we really, this is the full invitation. And so a commitment, the practice of it is a commitment to keep opening the channel that we are. Yeah, the aliveness is really that the participation is the channel, keep the channel open again and again, no matter how many times it goes dark, no matter how many times it's too much. And we all hit that place of too much. You know, it's that's just part of what it is to be in this human experience, actualizing, though in the cosmology of these teachings, the teaching is the understanding, the belief is that humanity has the capacity to actualize our divinity, that we have the capacity to actualize our divinity. And that's why it's called remembrance, right? Because we know, like conceptually, if you're here, you know that you are a divine being and there's amnesia that happens in coming into this realm for many. There are souls now who, you know, don't seem to have as much of it, but still. And so it's really the actualization of the divinity is what that they believed. And so the pharaohs were the symbol of like, oh, here is someone who's actualized their divinity with their humanity. But this is the invitation of the gate of aliveness. And so the open channel, the gate is about allowing your channel to remain open as a co-shaper of reality with divine and nature. And we don't just receive, we participate, we co-shape, and we offer. And that is so much of what happens in her temples. That's how the Het-Hert priestesses, the Hathor priestesses, you know, the dances, the songs, the sistrum, the toning, so much toning, all of that is a participation and an offering. So we're not just opening the channel so that we can feel like, oh, you know, I have an access, I have an access to God, or I feel so much better about myself. That's like 101, right? But it's really the channeling is for the full participation, to bring your aliveness, your joy, your body, your yes into the conversation that the divine is already and always having. And this is part of us actualizing our divinity. For me, it's really meaningful to remember that this exists, that there is a cosmology and an orientation that says we are capable of actualizing our divinity, that doesn't just stop at the limitations of being human. And so I find this really empowering and really important for the times that we are living in. And so how do you know when this gate is coming up again? As we talked about, everything is a cycle. So how you know is that it's when you begin to channel, this is the gate. When you begin to bring through light language, this is the gate. When tone comes through, when you're meditating and breathing and toning comes through, when sound arises out of your body, this is the gate. Because the aliveness is the full participation. Not just what you want in your own life, but as a cosmic being contributing to the grander scheme. When beauty becomes devotional, when you make beautiful spaces because the physicality and the beauty, the sacred beauty that you're creating or embodying, even adorning yourself or creating a beautiful space, when that becomes devotional, this is the gate. And when you say yes, we talked about this, so important. When you say yes, regardless of what is happening, this is also the gate. So I want to just hear how this is landing for you. And we're going to go into the practice. We're going to go into the practice in just a moment. I did promise to keep today shorter. The last one went so long. I think I'm actually going to Yeah, so we're going to go into the practice here in a moment, but I would love to know. I see you are with me. Yes. But again, it's moving it out of conception, right? It's really participating with it fully, with the emotion, with the aliveness. So I'm going to take us through a guided practice. Here we go. And then I'll put back the slides to finish. Okay, here we go. All right. Ooh, so I did send out a little mini meditation activation to our subscriber list if you are in our newsletter database. And I also even posted it in our Facebook group if you're in there. We're going to take that a step further. And if you didn't, that's fine. We're just going to do it together now. All right, so I'm gonna take you through this, okay? Hopefully you're not driving. Let's do this together, all right? So just sit up tall here. We're gonna do it's powerful. I'm gonna try to keep it, well, whatever it wants to be. Just closing your outer eyes. Go ahead and soften your belly. Breathing in through the nose into your belly. Open your mouth to exhale. Let your jaw go. Let your body relax, let go. Release the tension on the back of your body, your neck, where your skull rests on your spine. Breathing in and out of your heart center, becoming aware of this chest here, this piece that we are reclaiming, bringing back in. And so right here, right now, your eyes could be open with a soft gaze or they could be closed. It really doesn't matter. I want you to begin feeling the earth again, but allow your body to really feel it. Like, you know, my body, as I say that to you, begins to rock back and forth. So your body may rock back and forth. You may begin to go in spirals. Whatever's happening, really feeling the earth and her full aliveness, all of the elements, the tables, the water tables, the mineral tables, the fire aspect, the wood, the air, all the gases, all of the creatures, millions of types of bugs and creatures. And then beyond that, begin to connect and feel the earth here as an evolutionary being, as an advanced being, as an evolutionary being who is going through her own evolution. She is going through her own evolution within, moving through our solar system. As our solar system, we're moving through a different part of the universe. Feel how her tectonic plates have shifted, how they've moved over the last 15 years. Feeling all of the natural eruptions that occur. So really feeling this alive evolutionary being that she is, allowing this to come up through your holy vessel. And feeling your heart again, your chest, your heart. Inviting the breath to move in and out of your heart center here. And now opening yourself up to feel the expanse of the cosmos while still feeling the earth. So remember, you are the excess mundi. You are how heaven and earth are connected. This is how we actualize our divinity, right? We come out of the limited perception of self. So feeling the full aliveness of the earth and now becoming fully available to feel the cosmos. Like inviting them closer, inviting everything closer, all of the transmissions of light, all of the solar intelligence, all of the stellar intelligence, all of the frequency, everything that is shifting and moving in our solar system and in the greater cosmos, really making yourself available to feel that too. And then coming back here to your heart center and inviting this earth evolutionary aliveness to rise up into your body. And however your body's moving is perfectly fine. And inviting the cosmic intelligence to come all the way down. Really receiving, like letting it get closer and closer, like inviting the sky to get closer and yourself to get bigger. Kind of like that, right? You are the magnetic, conscious awareness that is moving the earth consciousness up and moving the cosmic energy down. This is happening through our awareness, through our heart center. And so here, as we are working with our participation and our aliveness, just notice how your body may want to move. This is part of the participation, right? We call it dance, but it's not a performative dance. It is the full embodied expression of the capacity, our capacity for aliveness. And so your body may be moving. And so I really invite you to allow your mind to get out of the way and see how everything wants to move through you. And you can take a breath and see if there is a sound that wants to move through you. If you are already channeling light language, this may be a moment that it wants to move through you and it's not something that needs to make sense to the linear mind. You may be toning. You may be bringing through language that is not exactly the language that I'm speaking through here with my words. Your body may be moving. So this is how we participate at the gate of aliveness. It's staying awake, alive in the participation. And so why this is essential, is this is how we participate in remembering the future that we want to remember. Because the future is not something that is going to happen to us. We are participating with divinity and with nature through the full awareness, awakeness of our vessel, whatever is available, right? We're on YouTube right now, so we're sitting in a circle in person. This would be a slightly different experience. So this is for you right now. What is the future that you are remembering? And I'm leading here. I'm here offering the transmission. However, you're in your space and you want to keep toning and you want to keep moving. Maintain. that you lifted the frequency of the evolutionary moment where the earth is, and that you called down the cosmos. So you are fully feeling both and participating with both, with your aliveness. And if you're hitting up against bumps, this is where you breathe into your heart. Now, these are mystery teachings, right? So when I work with people in real time, I am grateful to have lots of skills for navigating the psyche, for working with trauma, all of these other things that may arise in this space, right? However, because that's important for integration, not looking just to get you high, I'm looking to have us remember together the vast power that we have to participate in creating what we are here to create. When we look to a teaching that says humanity has the potential to actualize our divinity, not as abstract, but as real. And so that requires a leaning in here. Woo. I invite you to just say one word into your space here of what is alive for you, how this feels, right? Might be one word, 3 words, but really anchoring it in with the language that you know. Right? For me, it is alive and expansive. Tremendously expansive and filled with possibility. And so this is the space in which we go to create fertility, right? The fertility, this is where we plant the seeds here on this new moon. What are the seeds that you want to plant? How does it feel? And what are the seeds that you want to plant? So you can simply name this. One that I've been working with for a few months is that I am the flow of joyful harmony and abundance. Joyful harmony and abundance. And so what is alive? What is alive for you? And what are the seeds that you are bringing into this fertile moment of the new moon as we connect with this lunar member of the Neteru? Name what it is that you are planting. Joyful harmony and abundance. Ah, it feels so good. Feel free to borrow it. Yes? All right, beloveds. So feel free to stay here. We are coming near the end of our time, though I could sit here and do this with you for hours, but we're live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. So I want to tell you, if Egypt has been calling you, let me find, where are we? Ooh. All right, let's see, where did we go? Ooh. Aha, okay. There we are. I want to tell you. Yes, this was the practice. So when you have a minute as you're coming out of this, I would love for you to put this in the chat if you're live. And even if you're tuning in on the recording, please share what it feels like and what you are planting on this fertile new moon. Okay. So in January of 2027, I'm returning to Egypt for a very special pilgrimage. It is a priestess pilgrimage. It is called the Call of Destiny. We will be having private time in Dendera, which is an incredible, vast complex with so many chambers, and the beauty and the size and the mind-blowing mystery is truly out of this world. And we are going to put the link if you feel called to apply to join us, you know. And I've taken sisters on pilgrimages for many years. Yeah, though I will be returning to Egypt. This will be my first led pilgrimage in Egypt. I'm grateful for an incredible partner team on the ground there. And what I can assure you is that this is a path, what I value is integration. So yes, yes to the channeling, yes to all that is available for us, and that the way that I will be holding us and we will be journeying together, the intention is to deepen the integration of all of these frequencies in your life as you return so that you can deepen your service and your actualization. I see what else I want to share with you about this. We will be there for 12 nights. We have six visits, to private visits to temples, as well as the Great Pyramids, where we will be able to do our rituals and our ceremonies, and you will have time on your own to really commune with the frequencies. There will be guidance. And the sisters that are already coming, I will say, between just myself and those who are already coming, we're at over 100 years of wisdom in the feminine spiritual path. And so I think it's like, oh my God, I can't even imagine what's going to happen. What's incredible is that we're also going to be 14, so it's 13 plus myself, which fits perfectly with the cosmology of Aset and Osir and Heru. So if you have not caught Gate 1, the Gate of Wholeness, I invite you to do that. If you are called, I invite you to apply. Let's have a conversation. We are partnered with a finance company, as this is a large investment. It's a luxury experience. Everything is thought of, everything is included. You just get yourself to Cairo. You have, your money for your souvenirs and your tips, and that's it. Everything else is taken care of. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions. It is an exquisite group that has already formed, and I am so excited and honored to see who else is going to be joining us. I'll be back next week with the Gate of Power. So thank you so much. Oh, wow. The sound that wants to come through my voice and the drum. Beautiful, beautiful. Yes, please keep sharing what that felt like for you in your body. And just remember, it's allowing the Earth's evolution to rise into you and the cosmos to come all the way down. And then here we participate so fully. All right, beloveds. So many blessings on this new moon. I bless all of our seeds that are planted in the dark moon here, and grateful to tune in with the frequency of this beloved Het-Hert. So beautiful, so much sensuality, so much dance, so much creativity. If you are a creative person and you have wondered where all of that comes from, I can only imagine what's going to happen for you. Like if you identify, I'm super creative, what's going to happen for you when we go to Dendera and we allow the sound and the channel and the dance and the sistrum to move with us. So we'll also be working with the Blue Lotus medicine when we are there, which is, just such powerful medicine for softening the divide between the right and left hemispheres of the brain. It's not altering, it's not a psychedelic, but it is really powerful for the work that we'll be doing there and all the nights that we'll be sleeping on our private sailing vessel on the Nile and all the things. All right, my loves, blessings, blessings, blessings. And the final thing I want to leave us with is Het-Hert. So invite her, call her in to your practices that are for pleasure and for beauty and for creative life-giving offerings. Invite her in with joy and be present. All right. So many blessings. I will see you next week. Okay. Bye.